Well, it's been tasty already, this confrontation. When you think that the Combined Nations All-Stars were originally meant to be maybe a different looking assembly, but so many players unavailable, the team that Ellery Hanley has put together is giving England a tough test.
We've had tasty from you, we've had juicy from Danica. We're all hungry. Can we get some food up here? Look, he could have had a different team altogether, couldn't he? But with the players that they've got, they'll really go out and try and put England under some pressure here. And I do think Shaun Wane, you know, the word that he's having with John Bateman there, pretty much be saying, John, more of the same, lead from the front, carry us forward, and that's what he did in that first half.
Well, it's England in possession at the start of the second half, and referee Jack Smith blows for the first penalty of the second half.
Kalepi Tanganoa got off the shoulder charge, been awarded to England by Jack Smith. He gets up. Matty Lees, as I said, really imposed himself in that the second quarter of the first half.
It's mad, really, that he'd attempt to do that when it's quite clearly not in the rules anymore. I'm not against it. I actually love to see it. Obviously, it's illegal now. You know, Sonny Bill Williams would be redundant in the modern game, wouldn't he? He made a living off doing that, so did Sam Burgess. It's not allowed. And another penalty for the All-Stars. Andrew Henderson mentioned the impact of discipline. Showed they would look to tidy that up, but not the start that they wanted.
Well, here's a leg ski as England enter Combined Nations territory for the first time in the second half. And Matty Lees, one of the 4 debutants in this England side this evening, the Super League Young Player of the Year in 2019, Matty Lees. McMeekin, lovely ball. Watkins similarly. Makinson tires screeching as he cuts back in field. Williams looks, chips into an inviting area of space, and back goes Mahe Fonua. And Mahe Fonua trying to get out of trouble, almost doing so, but he is pounded down.
Well, that's got everybody excited, hasn't it? Beautifully well-measured kick by George Williams. He saw all that space available to him, and it was a measured decision. He doesn't want to force a long pass. He thinks he'll just dab it in, force a goal line dropout. But that's Mahe Fonua. We know he'll have a go at anything, won't it? 4 white shirts in the screen.
Yeah, an encouraging signs for Shaun Wane. The intensity of the chase. Great kick from Williams. But 4 or 5 England shirts, white shirts, just herring after it. That's how you build pressure. And this just saps your energy for the All-Stars. You know, you come out in the second half, you've just had to defend for maybe 5 minutes on the spin. It just saps your energy, and England will get a lot of confidence from that.
Matty Lees taking that ball into the heart of the Combined Nations All-Stars territory. Here's Welsby. Welsby finds McMeekin. McMeekin edging his way towards the try line. The Catalan Dragons second row.
He's been strong, hasn't he, McMeekin? Some big carries from him in that first half.
Here is Welsby. Welsby puts the brakes on, and then Tompkins comes back across the field. Here's Williams. Liam Farrell. 4 of the red-shirted All-Stars there to stop his progress. Right in front of the posts. Michael Oram's pass. Here is Bateman. Bateman one-handed. Bateman diving, trying to get the ball down. I think he has eventually. Jack Smith is going to go to the video ref, Robert Hicks, for clarification of this. The referee thinks it's a try. What does the video ref reckon?
Video ref, match director with an on-field decision of try. Please can I check all available angles for grounding? If we go slow, please, I think that should help us. So he has possession of the ball. And he still does. Arms are up. In his hand. Still in his hand. Ooh. Lose his hand, and then we can see the ball on the floor. I'll lose his hand. He's definitely on the ball at that point. Yeah, and hand is still there, but we lose it off the edge of the camera. Is there any other angle at all? Or is that going to be the only angle we have? The left hand's on the ball, though. The left hand is on the ball. If you just go further back, That is his left hand on the ball. His right hand, sorry, it's his right hand, isn't it? It's my left. It's the hand on top of the ball, the other hand comes off it, but the hand is still on the ball. Is that the only angle we've got? Yeah, on that basis, I've made my decision.
Robert Hicks just checking whether John Bateman kept a hand on that ball. It certainly looked as though that was the case. It was, and he gets the first try of the second half. And determination paying off for Wigan's John Bateman.
Good finish from Bateman in the end. Did well to keep hold of the ball. It was a crazy decision from Brodie Croft in defence. Jumps out, you can just see him go past the ball. I think he thought the ball was going to go round the back. You can see he looks up to the sky, he looks up to the heavens. Knows he got that wrong. John Bateman. Remember Terry O'Connor calling him the strongest, skinniest man he's ever seen, and he's deceptively strong, John Bateman. He's got three big, powerful individuals trying to deny him from getting that ball down. And the tattoo on his arm of his daughter's name, Millie, gave it away. He kept control of the ball, he got downward pressure, and he got the try.
And Tompkins maintains his 100% record to extend England's lead. John Bateman actually captained England against France last year in the international against the French in Perpignan. And he got 2 tries in that game. And he's got a try for Sean Wayne and his England side to extend their lead against the Combined Nations All-Stars. Good start to the second half then. And here is Aledzki. Exactly, I'm sure, what the England camp would have wanted. Let's get that checked with Paul Wellens. The start you'd hope for, Paul, to this second 40.
Yeah, definitely a great start to the second half. They're getting that try, but it comes off the back of a mindset around building some pressure. Probably in the first half we coughed up a bit more ball than we'd like in good ball, but once we started to get through our sets, we started to get opportunity off the back of it.
And what are the priorities in this second half?
Just to keep playing our way. Obviously we've not had a lot of time together as a group, but the signs in training this week have been really good, so we want to throw a bit of football at them, but we want to do it in the right way, and we don't want to take risk where it's not necessary. So getting to our last play is really important, and the longer the game goes on, we hope more opportunity will present itself.
Thanks, Paul.
Thank you.
Paul Wellens back on duty with St Helens next week. And their game against Leeds, you can see on Sky Sports. We'll be back on this ground next Friday. Warrington take on Hull FC. One of these players will be coming up against each other again. Reece Martin.
Been impressed with how England have just dealt with the All-Stars being aggressive. So when they've been aggressive on their edges, Williams and Welsby have kicked the ball behind. Well, for Bateman's try there, aggressive defence, he just changed his line beautifully. Loads of different tactics he can use to come up against an aggressive defence. A lot of them on show here from England.
Fafita riding the first challenge from Matty Lees, who comes back eventually to assist in the tackle. But Sean Wayne, knowing how mean he is in terms of defence, this nil will be very important to him.
He couldn't hide his disappointment last year, even though it was a good game. 24 points to 26. The Combined Nations won that game. He wanted a test for his side. He wants a win, and he wants a performance, and he'll be particularly looking at the right side of that scoreboard as the game grows and gets towards the back end. He'll be looking at that 0. Defence is something he prides himself on, and listening to Paul Wellens and the words of Paul Wellens, they want to show some threat and some danger with the ball in hand. And Paul Wellens, I'm reminded by Ian Proctor, is one of the few players around here that's played under Ellery Hanley during his time as a St Helens coach.
Here's Aledzki for the England side. Women's State of Origin features on Sky Sports Arena next Friday morning, 10 a.m. for that one between New South Wales and Queensland. And then can New South Wales level the series in Perth? Sunday, June the 26th, 10 a.m. for Origin 2 on Sky Sports Arena.
Ambitious long pass from Mahe Fanua to the fullback Matautia. As this game goes on, you're going to see those players take more risks, more gambles. And as I said in the first half, there's nothing more dangerous, there's nothing more intimidating than playing against a side with nothing to lose.
Don't play short, pal.
Here is David Fafita.
Hold, John. Hold. Go third. Play on.
Enigmatic play. You never know what he's going to produce. Brodie Croft, that's a nice ball from Croft, and Tanganoa is away. He's got Cruz Leeming in support. Fanua likewise. Mahe Fanua is going to take matters into his own hands and try and bulldoze his way to the try line, but he couldn't, and Leeming just couldn't find the space there. Croft, Miller kicks cross field, it's back in field, and the flag is up. Ken Seo was challenging for that ball, but I think he was out of play.
I think England touch it, don't they? As Ken Seo.
No, it's a handover.
Is his foot down?
Yeah, it's going to go back.
Where do you want it, England? It's a handover.
But Sam Tompkins, during that last play, we'll have another look, yeah.
Nah, mate, he's in touch.
England are going to get the ball. Sam Tompkins, watch what he does at fullback here. Kalepi Tanganoa, he runs forward and then backs away, gives him too much time to make his decision, and he ends up making no decision, doesn't he? Well, quality fullback player from Tompkins.
Yeah, patience to just lead Tanganoa into an option where he almost had too much to think about. But what a chase back from John Bateman. You know, we spoke about his involvements tonight, some high-quality involvements. No need to chase back there. There's no consequences for him not doing it. Shaun Wane's teams, all the trends that Shaun Wane likes to produce, are based around effort. Huge effort from John Bateman there.
Right, England in possession, deeper in their own half. Let's go down to the sidelines, hear from Jenna again.
Yeah, John Wilkin there just mentioning John Bateman. He's been involved in everything this 80 minutes, a much better outing than a year ago. Remember, he left the game early with that high ankle strain that saw him sidelined for 6 weeks.
Yeah, having a happier time so far is John Bateman. Try to his name in the second half. England 18-0 up.
Yeah, you're good now,
Kick downfield into the arms of Peter Matautia.
Paul McShane on for England now. Man of steel in 2020, came into last year's game full of confidence, didn't quite come off for him. And it's an opportunity for him to establish himself in the international setup and give Shaun Wane another headache. They've got 4 quality hookers to choose from.
He's something different as well, though, Barry, isn't he? He's an old-school hooker, you know, understands his craft, very manipulates the markers and the defenders around the really well.
Here's another hooker on the run. It's Leeming, and Leeming's look forward. The referee didn't see anything wrong with that, and it's going to be a try. Is it? No. What great defence from England. Well, that's some sort of justice there.
I think he's still ended up with the ball. What? I thought Tom Brady had got on the field.
Meanwhile, hang on, Croft's kick cross field, and it's well claimed. Well claimed by Williams. Fanua was high on him and concedes the penalty.
Mahe Fanua saying I went up for the catch, and
he did
obviously the penalty.
He caught his head.
Let's have a look here. George Williams gets up.
Catches his head.
Yeah, he does. Well, I don't know what he's complaining about. I know what England will be complaining about. Holy moly!
What about that? That's 7 metres forward. It's that forward. It was so obvious he couldn't give it.
Come back, Steve-O, and his memento rule.
Great scramble, wasn't it, though, again, from England. Look, Cruz Leeming just forging a break for the All-Stars. They've not had many opportunities, but again, great scramble.
Hey, listen, every moment is under the microscope. Paul McShane went out, tried to make that tackle, and his opposite, Cruz Leeming, makes the break. Throws an American football pass forward, but it doesn't matter. He made the break.
There is McShane, the pass for Bateman, and then Bateman bringing Oledski onto the ball on the halfway line.
Come on, wait, go.
Oh, he's just invented a new scientific instrument.
The microscope.
It's just slightly more under slightly more scrutiny.
Here is Welsby. Welsby's put a lovely little kick in. Watkins is chasing this, kicks the ball ahead, and Matautia goes down, the ball goes backwards.
He's always going back.
Yeah, they've really dominated field position, England. They've been ruthless when they've got down there, just maintained a large period of time where they're just suppressing this combined all-nations ability to get out the half. But that's one way they do. You know, if they're going to get out the half, it's going to be through penalties, certainly not through lack of effort. If anything, too much effort. Been caught offside maybe 4 times during this game. Looks like the only way out for the All-Stars at the minute.
With a couple of close shaves for the England defence, it's needed some really good scrambling cover from the likes of John Bateman to keep that scoreline to 0.
But Bill, without stating the obvious, at international level, at top elite level, you don't get away with those mistakes. Better opposition would have converted that chance.
Go to
Fafita playing the ball. The All-Stars having a good spell at the moment. They've got a bit of possession, they've got a bit of territory. They're on that England 40-metre line. Here is Brodie Croft, here is Miller. Miller goes it on to Matautia. Matautia, Sean Kenny down, hurdles, tries to hurdle Welsby, who just manages to get a hold of an ankle. Miller. Lingy Sao.
Release, go.
Matautia's pass finds Jacob Miller. Miller, Brodie Croft's kick is a teasing one, and Tompkins eventually. Reece Martin appealing for a knock-on. Tompkins goes down bravely.
Yeah, I think if England have been challenged by the All-Stars, it's been through them, it hasn't been round them. You know, certainly if you look at Tanganoa's break, look at Lehman's break, Brodie Croft's break in the first half, it's all inside shoulders. And if anything, they've had success going through this England team where Sean Wayne will look to tighten that up.
10 now.
Here comes Jake Wardle, first half try scorer. More news from the sideline. Jenna?
Yeah, we're just seeing the England prop Mike Cooper come back onto the pitch. He left late on in that first half. You'll notice that his calf is heavily strapped. He's been receiving treatment on it. Looked like he had a stud mark on the back of his right calf, but he's good to go.
Yeah, of course, Super League coaches will be watching on anxiously, hoping that nobody comes out of this with a calf injury or a chest injury. Matt Pryor picking up some sort of knock.
And that is the unfortunate side of a mid-season international. Clubs have got that hold on their players. They can't afford to go into a game, especially an international one, worrying about getting injured. But yeah, every coach, every chief exec, every fan of a Super League team will just be hoping that their players get through unscathed.
Got Joe Batchelor on the field. Some nice aggressive defence here. Tommy Makinson just getting it right, just putting Sean Kenny down under that much pressure. He comes up with the error. But yeah, John Wells mentioned Joe Batchelor heavily before the game. He's on the field now, and he just gets an opportunity, number 15 here for England, to make his debut. And just renowned for getting the effort areas of the game right. Christian Wolf loves him just because of his effort, you know, in the little areas of the game, and I'm sure that's what he'll look to do here.
They're taking great pride in Joe Batchelor's elevation to the full England side with the York City Knights after his performances there, and at the Coventry Bears, as was, Midland Hurricanes, as is. But they played a part in Joe Batchelor's development. Here's Matty Lees now.
Yeah, there's loads of routes to the top, Bill, isn't there? You know, we look at people and assume they just all come through the same system. Joe Batchelor's done it differently, and he's got a what a proud moment for him.
Now then, here's Callum Watkins. He learned his rugby league trade just up the road at Latchford Albion, did Callum Watkins. Mike Cooper, proud Warringtonian.
Move, one now!
Won't be Probably next, well, he probably still will be a proud Warringtonian, but he'll be playing for Wigan. Here's Matty Lees. That's the 5th tackle. McShane just scanning, looking for the options. The pass finds McMeekin. And that's going to be the turnover and disappointing end to that particular set.
Yeah, not slick. Paul McShane on the previous tackle chose to give that tight runner. That's his preferred option a lot of the time. Give it the straight running, hard running forward, set up. And when it came to the back end of the set, George Williams, it was too far in front of him. And a sloppy end at the end of that set.
You've got hold of him, go! You've got hold of him, Mahe!
Now here's Ken Seo. Hasn't really had a chance to repeat his try-scoring exploits from this fixture last year when he got those 2 tries. Had a great campaign in 2021. Super League top try scorer with 19 was Ken Seo. He's David Fifita and offloads Matautia. Halfway line. The hour marker approaching. Leeming spins the ball out wide. Seo cuts back in field. Batchelor there to make the tackle. So was Wellesby.
Tackle 5.
Leeming darts down the short side and then finds support from Sean Kenny-Dowell, who puts the kick in. Ball comes back to him.
No, still 5.
Still on the last.
All-Stars hoping
that they get 6 to go.
I thought they deserved that ball back. I thought it was a charge down. When he puts this kick in, he's moving towards him, Callum Watkins. And the referee.
He puts his arms out. Does that constitute?
Yeah. For me, that's a charge down. Right.
The All-Stars just catching England napping on the short side. When you're at marker, you've got a responsibility to protect that short side defensively. Both of those markers worked up and just created a short defensive number on that short side. The All-Stars took advantage.
Here's Ryan Hall now.
6 again for England here now. Good opportunity. That's the halfway line that Tommy Makinson plays the ball on.
As Jake Wardle just slips as he goes into the tackle. Cooper.
Third, off the ball, collect it.
Up to the 40. Now here's Williams. Williams taking him on, but tackled by Matautia. McShane slips. McMeekin comes back in field, manages to get the offload away. McShane. That's the 5th tackle.
Tackle 5.
And Williams poised maybe for a crossfield kick with the ball over his head, and it reaches Wellesby, so he applies boot to ball. Makinson is going to challenge for it. The ball is batted back, and it's come up for the All-Stars. Jacob Miller it is on the ground with the ball.
It was a nice kick from Jack Wellesby, wasn't it? Just a few stray dummy half passes from England, but regardless of that, you've got to make something happen. Moving at full speed, left-footed kick to that corner. Fantastic skill.
Out ball! 10 now, George! Goal 3.
Oh, good contact. He's got to control that a bit better, Matty Lees. Probably sees his teammate Alex Walmsley prowling the sideline. His afternoon stroke evening's almost done, you feel.
Go, tackle 5.
Leeming, looking for a 40-20 maybe, but it's straight into the arms of Ryan Hall. Comes motoring back. His last England try was in Denver.
It's the second effort. We then can't play
Mile
on.
High Stadium, was it?
Mile High Stadium against New Zealand.
Can't play on.
That's what you get from Ryan Hall, isn't it? It's just the sheer strength of carry. And then once he wins that contact, look, he's looking to play the ball quickly, and then you get Tetevano and company just trying to slow him down illegally. Tetevano there will know of Ryan Hall through his Leeds teammates. Will speak a lot about him, and just a difficult player to deal with. And as you said earlier, Barry, rightly in this team today.
So is this man, Mike McMeekin.
Stand up, go, tackle 1.
Now here is Walmsley. They'll stop his progress on the 10-metre line. Jack Wellesby. Welsby. Lingy Sao manages to get a hold of him, but Welsby is still able to offload. McShane keeps it going to Williams. Williams' little skip. Meakin gets the ball away back to Williams. Wardle tries the flick pass. It comes off for Mahe Fanua. And the referee says it will be the All-Stars ball, I think.
Yeah, you can see a nice little bit of interplay. The guys in the studio talked about combinations and players understanding one another's habits. I think Mahe Fanua touches that. George Williams shapes to kick. There's a little run around with Mike McMeekin, and when he tries to offload that ball, Jake Wardle, I'm certain Mahe Fanua just catches it.
Yeah, Williams and Welsby have combined well. We saw Jack Welsby sort of run down a dead end, you know, flings the ball back through the middle of the field, and that's where George Williams likes to get the ball. A bit unstructured, not through shape all the time. Just gets the ball in his hands early. Nice turn up from Mike McMeekin, but the combination of Welsby and Williams will please Sean Wayne no end.
It's brilliant to see International Rugby League being played again. We're here tonight. We've watched the women's game. Hotly contested game between France this afternoon, but I have to give a shout out to the Tri-Nations University Tournament over in Galway. Ireland, England and Scotland all taking part, so lots of International Rugby League being played. I applaud it.
That sounds like a good trip. Great trip.
I tried to get on it.
I know you did.
In what capacity? I think your student days are over.
In an ambassador capacity.
Mr. Ambassador.
Yeah.
Paul, he's just got into a dangerous position, mate.
Meanwhile, the penalty goes against England.
There's McShane, just lifted a leg, trying to win the tackle. It's out here, just gets in a bit of a dangerous position. Been a bit scrappy from Paul McShane here. You know, since he's come on, very experienced player, a couple of stray passes. Penalty there, he'll be looking to just get a grip of this game.
But into the final quarter, England will be determined to keep that All-Stars scoreline at 0. But Ellery Hanley's side are in possession. They've got plenty of tackles to play with here. They're about 20 metres away from the line. Brodie Croft running into a cul-de-sac there. And here's Kalepi Tanganoa.
He's been hard to handle, hasn't it?
England against France, the Wheelchair International. Tomorrow, 3 o'clock, Sky Sports Arena rounds off a busy weekend for the Sky Sports crew. Moving on after this one. Here is Croft. He has not stopped trying. And that was Mike Cooper with a swinging arm, I think, who is penalised.
He does him for footwork, doesn't it? Brodie Croft steps off the left onto the right, and yeah, he's completely done him there for footwork. Mike Cooper.
It's one of them, he's done you. You stick everything out, hoping you get something on him.
He did. he got something on him.
Got something on him, yeah.
So this is a good opportunity for the All-Stars. The penalty just about 10 metres away from the England line. Zane Tetevano takes it a bit closer. Leeming waiting for the ball. Set restart signals. So big opportunity and big defensive opportunity for England now to keep that line intact. Lingy Sao is stopped just short. Leeming scoops the ball away. Watkins was offside.
You're all offside around the ruck, boys.
Well, somebody was offside.
Callum Watkins there, just pushing upfield aggressively.
Not by much, is it? It's not by much.
No, it's not. That instinctive sort of centre play.
Yeah, I had visions of the final that we were talking about, 2017. Long-range effort.
Sean Kenny-Dow's ball. Kensio staggering towards the line. He's put that ball down. That is a fantastic finish from Kensio. He took that ball down round his toes and managed to stay in the field of play and get that ball down. And England's line is broken eventually. And Kensio, as he did last season in this fixture, gets his name on the scoreboard.
Well, it came from Callum Watkins, just getting off his line, got the intercept, deemed offside, just created an opportunity for Cruz Leeming to be tricky. And then that's the only time tonight that Tommy Makinson hasn't made contact at the right point. Both him and Watkins aggressive, but it gives Sean Kenny-Dowell enough time, and he'll feed Kensio the ball and they'll score every time in that situation. Really smart from Cruz Leeming, Barry.
I love to see that. I love to see a set play. Too many times on tap restarts, it's field position, about setting at a certain point. You can catch teams as The All-Stars did on that occasion. Wonderful delivered pass from Sean Kenny-Dowell, and he makes no mistake, Ken Seo.
And this guy doesn't make many mistakes. Rhys Martin with the boots. Prolific goal kicker in the colours of the Leeds Rhinos, but he's missed with that one, which is good news for England. 18-4 the scoreline. Coming up to 13 minutes to go.
Well, these players have had minimal time together. Ellery Hanley, Andrew Henderson and Carl Hall. The rest of the coaching staff have tried to forge some cohesion and understanding, and that was a set-piece play. They've probably practiced it 3 or 4 times and executed it at top level. And that's how disappointed he is, Sean Wayne.
I'll stay.
Doesn't look happy,
no.
Sean.
Stay, George.
No, he will be happy with the 18, but he was delighted with the 0 at the side of it.
Barry, you were talking about representative rugby at student level. There is an under-19s championship coming up in the European Rugby League under-19s championships, in fact, which will be held in Italy between the 1st and 11th of September. And France, England, Ireland, Italy, Serbia, Scotland and Wales involved. And the news is that Ukraine will take part in that tournament. And there is a big online fundraising effort going on at the moment. If you want to assist the Ukrainian side to take part in that European under-19s championship, which would be a fantastic effort from their team if they were to get to Lignano Sabbiadoro for the tournament.
Molto, molto bene.
You can go there, I'll go to Galway.
Fine, you go to Galway, yeah. That's a deal.
I know I'll have a better time.
Think of the pizza you're missing. Think of the pizza you're missing. Tompkins is underneath that kick. Here is Ryan Hall, and Ryan Hall sees off Rhys Martin. Martin comes back for a second attempt. Here is Jake Wardle. He'll be happy with his England debut performance with the Huddersfield Giant. McMeekin.
3, straight out, Liggy.
Yeah, he's played tough as Mike McMeekin. You know, encouraging performances from a number of people. John Bateman, obviously, we've waxed lyrical about him. Mike McMeekin's been strong, powerful, direct.
I think this is his time now, Wilco. I think everybody gets a phase in their career that they're absolutely as good as they can be. I think this is the time for Mike McMeekin.
Walmsley, the ball squirts out of his grasp. He appeals to the referee.
He was trying to find that offload, wasn't he, the big fella? He's got arms all over him. And Matautia just picks his pocket.
It's Darryl Clark back on the field.
Just an interesting start here, Bill. In terms of running out a dummy half, you know, obviously Cruz Lehman and Darryl Clark are playing for the All-Stars. They've run 7 times out of dummy half. We've only seen England run once. As they scramble aggressively, defence here from Ryan Hall and Jake Wardle. Amazing defence. They've scrambled well all day. Jake Wardle with a really tidy debut. Him and Ryan Hall combining
in the middle.
Really well just to win the side some possession back. Like I said, only 1 run from dummy half from England. Something that I think they'll address off the back of big, strong ball carriers like Ryan Hall, who's defensively been fantastic here. Jake Wardle, who was defensively fantastic there. They're in the side to produce quick rucks. With maybe McLaurin and McShane, maybe you lose that running threat. So maybe that window of opening is there for a running 9 to come into this England team.
Let's go.
Jake Wardle has always been billed for big things. Remember Paul Anderson picking him out, Chris Thorman, likewise, both of whom knew him from his early days at the Giants.
And again, Ryan Hall is in the team because he's playing outstandingly well for Hull KR, but what an extra pair of eyes and ears Jake Wardle will have at the side of him with Ryan Hall, 40-odd tests under his belt. He'll be talking to him all the way through.
It's a calm confidence, that, in it. Somebody who's been around that long. No histrionics about how they behave. Just calm, confident performance from Ryan Hall.
Cooper taking it to the line, and Tompkins fires the ball, and it is Wardle, but Wardle is clattered. Mahe Fanua and Rhys Martin there to stop him in his tracks. On the last, it's with Tompkins. Sam Tompkins puts the kick in. It's in the hands of Jacob Miller, and Miller weaves his way up to the 10-metre line.
Hold. Go on.
Sean Kenny-Dow. Try a piece in this second half between these two sides. England kicked their conversion. Maurice Martin couldn't land his. Here is Fafita.
Bill, you mentioned Paul Anderson before. I've just had a text from Paul Anderson who wants me to mention the Origin Academy matches that are currently being played. Lancashire, Yorkshire, Lancashire are 1-0 up. Yes, get in there. And the next game is 26th of June.
So a lot going on at the moment.
Yeah.
A lot of rugby on Sky, Bill, keeping us busy.
Go, tackle 5.
Jacob Miller. Leeming balloons the pass out wide to Ken Seo, scorer of that All-Stars try. Here is the captain, Sean Kenny-Dow, who's lost that ball.
Give the ball up for Sean.
Well, they've got to do something, haven't they? We've seen a couple of times Cruz Leeming throw that long ball, trying to find Sean Kenny-Dow and Ken Seo. Why not? Players that can create something from nothing.
Just not had enough possession, the All-Stars, to really threaten England. And then when they've had it,
no, he's come back through the ruck.
Well, they've either made errors or conceded a few penalties, and that's just fed this possession-hungry machine, which is the England team. They just want the ball to get that continuity, get some flow into how they're playing.
Sorry, John. Kalepi Tanganoa, the man penalised. Now England, with the time ticking down in this mid-season international, can they finish with a flourish? Remember, there are only 17 weeks until the World Cup tournament kicks off at St James's Park in Newcastle with that game against Samoa. That is going to be a tall order for England. A tough start to the season, to the competition. Set restart signalled. England then face group fixtures against Bolton as Walmsley goes on the charge. France at Bolton and Greece at Bramall Lane to come for England in their group. McAlorum, McShane. Here is Mike Cooper. How he would love to get a try on this, his home ground.
Well, there's a penalty. Michael McAlorum, when he passes that ball,
without the ball, mate,
ends up being handled by Liggy Sow.
It's a penalty.
And the referee decides that there's not much going on, and we'll go back to the penalty. And again, we'll get to see what England can set up. What's their set-piece players like? Can they produce something similar to the All-Stars?
Stay here. Let's go.
Tompkins gives it to the big lad.
First.
Alex Walmsley. Just a couple of metres away from the line as Williams stretches for that pass from McShane. Croft it was down round the ankles to stop his opposite number. McShane. McShane's pass to Walmsley again from a standing start.
Move. Hold.
They're still hammering away at the line. Here is Cooper once more, gets it back to McShane. McShane to Williams. Williams fires the pass to McMeekin, who comes back in field towards the post. Hampshire's finest. Mike McMeekin, Basingstoke Brawn. Set restart signalled. The pressure relentless from England here. Here is Wellesby. This prodigiously talented St Helens star.
Peter, clean it up.
Still only 21 years of age.
Yeah, I'm done with that. We're all right.
McAlorum. Batchelor. Blooded.
Daz, get yourself out!
The All-Stars camped on their own try-line defending. Here is McShane. Will the defence be broken as Williams stabs the kick in, and it's gathered by Martin. And they will get the ball back, will England?
It's good game management, isn't it? We saw on the right when Jack Wellesby had control of it, he was asking questions. Here's the penalty, a late hit from Liggy Sow. But when George Williams has limited options available to him, he puts the ball on the end of his toe, and he's asking real big questions every time he does.
Short kicking game from George Williams has been exquisite at times. Just feel like England's attack a little bit flat there. Everyone a bit stationary. I think if England want to trouble teams in the World Cup, they're going to have some depth, especially when attacking the opponent's line, and have some speed onto the ball. It's when Williams and Wellesby look at the best. Just a little bit flat.
Neither you or I are picking the man of the match, but for me, George Williams has been a different player in an England shirt.
Wellesby getting in a tangle with Fafita and Darryl Clark. Here's McShane, here is Walmsley. Lee Sao. And Darryl Clark again, stopping him. England determined to finish with a flourish here. It's Cooper and Cooper. As if he wants to prove a point on his home ground. Well, they all do, surely, in that white shirt. Oh, the ball comes back to McShane, and it's knocked on. The World Cup final, Saturday, November the 19th. What a prospect. And England so determined to be part of that.
50 years?
It'd be 50 years and 8 days since Clive Sullivan skippered Great Britain to their last World Cup triumph against Australia in Lyon in 1972.
It's a great try, that, by Clive Sullivan, wasn't it? Fueled my childhood. I had that on video. Can he go, Sully? And he goes.
Hey, don't forget the other try scorer. He will never forgive you, Mike. Steve-O Stevenson.
Never forget.
He has dined out on that since for the full 50 years.
What are the chances of this current crop of England players having a World Cup victory to dine out on?
Well, I think it's a tough ask for them. Can they do it? Of course they can. Look, we're just watching the state of origin and the NRL. That seems to just be galloping on at the minute. They've got an opportunity, but some work to do.
Sometimes the things that aren't under your control are the biggest impact on a squad, and that's injuries. Getting all your horses healthy and over that finish line and having a full squad for Shaun Wane is the most important thing.
The All-Stars really throwing caution to the wind at the close of this game. And here's Darryl Clark with the run. Clark gets the pass back to Tanganoa. Tanganoa keeps it alive, and Reece Martin will get to the line. Will he get to the line? He's double movement. He is. He's penalised by Jack Smith.
Brilliant defence.
Amazing defence.
Is it Tommy Makinson?
Just amazing defence. This
commitment.
Yeah, great scramble. Tommy Makinson, just no right to be there. He's come from the other wing.
It was on this ground in Super League just a few weeks ago that Tommy Makinson pulled off that brilliant tackle on Connor Wrench.
He does that week in, week out, doesn't he, Tommy Makinson? Puts his head where boots are flying, and he'll get, obviously, rewards for his tries and his work that he does with the ball. But when a winger comes up with something like that, it's inspiring for everybody around him.
Well, we've seen a few great examples of it. John Bateman, real great scramble just to shut down Tanganoa earlier. And Tommy Makinson from the right wing, covering his mates, covering them. And that's what you do in a team that wants to defend. And if they're going to do well in the World Cup, they've got to be difficult to beat. I'll tell you what, it's hard to beat teams that have got that desperation and commitment to defending their own line.
Move!
Into the last 60 seconds of this contest, England are going to take a mid-season victory into their World Cup preparations. Just one more warm-up fixture coming up. That takes place against Fiji at Rochdale on October the 7th. And then, very soon after that, it all happens. It all begins.
Left. Release him.
October the 15th. With that game against Samoa. On the last, it's with Williams. Williams, the ball back on the inside. Little kick ahead, and it's going to go over the dead ball line, although Miller makes sure it goes there. So England will end with pressure on the All-Stars defence, really being competitive, forcing the goal line dropout. And that really sums up their determination in this contest. It maybe has not been as fluent as they'd have hoped, but they have been tough. They have been tough.
Yeah, fantastic. Some great standout performances. I thought John Bateman back to his best. George Williams, wow, what a performance from him. Exceptional. Shaun Wane will be delighted with that resilience and that will to defend, Barry.
I think we've seen a team here. We've seen a bunch of individuals come together, play under the England crest and do the country proud. Some really big performers. I told you I picked my man of the match. For what it's worth, George Williams back to his mercurial best, getting on the end of everything and being a real threat with the ball. And Shaun Wane's delighted.
It's one of the perks of the job. Shaun Wane, proud day for him and for the family. because he's got the win that he wanted, and he's had to wait for his win as well. Just the third game of his tenure since he was appointed in February 2020. But he'll be delighted with that, as will the grandkids. And England have got this to build on. There's no doubt room for improvement, but they've won this mid-season warm-up game by 18 points to 4.